Alright, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to No Final Bell episode 16. We kind of have a lot going at you in this episode. A little bit more so than we're kind of used to on the show. A little ROH, a little Impact, a little AEW.
Yep.
So how about we start off?
So last week I forgot to mention that ROH was holding their final battle show over the weekend, and I have results from that. Let's start off with the pre-show. We have a 6-woman tag team match between Miranda Alizé and the Allure versus Chelsea Green and the Hex. Miranda Alizé and the Allure defeat Chelsea Green and the Hex. Then we go over to this match here. Vincent, Bateman, and Dutch defeat Moses Khan and O'Shea Edwards to become the new Ring of Honor 6-man tag team champions. Now we get into the main card. Dragon Lee defeats Ray Horus. And so this was their final show before their hiatus. So they are unfortunately on hiatus right now, and they plan on bringing the company back in April. We'll see what happens with Ring of Honor. Unfortunately, though, it is a hiatus, and, we here at No Final Bell just want to say thank you to Ring of Honor for the continued years of putting on some great matches, having quite possibly some of the best talent in the world that would, go on later to become even bigger stars in AEW, in New Japan, in NWA, in WWE, wherever they went after Ring of Honor, or even when they were in. But one of the men who, as the night progressed, there were a lot of former Ring of Honor talents that showed up to say their thank yous and their, not congratulations, but to air out their grievances in a way to Ring of Honor. One of which being Eddie Edwards. Next up, we have a fatal 4-way match for the Ring of Honor Television Championship, which consisted of Dalton Castle, Silas Young, Joe Hendry, and Rhett Titus. After 15 years in the company, Rhett Titus has finally captured a singles championship in Ring of Honor. Rhett Titus defeated Dalton Castle, Silas Young, and Joe Hendry to become the new Ring of Honor Television Champion. And going back to the former Ring of Honor talent, Hangman Adam Page says his thank yous to Ring of Honor. Next up, we have Ring of Honor Pure Wrestling Action. Now, the Pure division is one in which I didn't quite understand the rules up until I watched the match at Final Battle. Now I understand the rules behind the Pure Wrestling division. You're only allowed a certain amount of rope breaks. You're only allowed one closed fist throughout the match from either side, and there's a unofficial time limit to the length of the match. But it was a match for the Pure Championship between Josh Woods, the champion, and Brian Johnson, the challenger. Josh Woods defeated Brian Johnson to retain the Pure Championship. Next up, we have Jimmy Jacobs thanking Ring of Honor. Then we go to a fight without honor, which basically is just another way of saying they had a no disqualification, anything goes match. And it was between Shane Taylor and Kenny King. And Shane Taylor defeated Kenny King in that fight without honor. And there There were a lot of they went at one another in this match. Next up, we have a man who really needs no introduction, a man who pretty much built the foundation of Ring of Honor that we know, as we know it. CM Punk, thanks, Ring of Honor.
As he should.
Next up, we have women's title action, the champion Roxy versus Willow. And no, not that Willow, not Jeff Hardy. So, Roxy defeated Willow to retain the Ring of Honor Women's Championship, but it's what happened after the match. And who came out after the match? The AAA Reina de Reinas champion, Deonna Purrazzo, came out. She wants to face Roxy for the Women's Championship. It was a title she never held, and Deonna Purrazzo was formerly in when it was called the Women of Honor division. Now it is simply the Ring of Honor Women's division. But regardless, Deonna Purrazzo wants a shot at the Ring of Honor Women's Championship. She wants to face Roxy. Who knows? Maybe it could happen in AAA. Maybe it could happen in Impact. Who knows? But then we go to more Ring of Honor alumni showing their thanks. Adam Cole, baby, shows his thank yous. Shows his thanks to Ring of Honor. Next up, we have a 8-man tag team match. Members of Violence Unlimited. So you have Brody King, Homicide, and another member of Violence Unlimited, and Rocky Romero defeat Eli Isom, Taylor Rust, formerly Tyler Rust in NXT, EC3, and Tony Deppen. But after the match, we have some more surprises. First surprise of the night was Deonna Purrazzo. Next surprise of the night, former Universal Champion Braun Strowman, now going by the Titan Adam Scherr. EC3 has summoned the Titan Adam Scherr. Next up, we have more former Ring of Honor alumni. The Young Bucks show their thanks to Ring of Honor. Next up, we have the Tag Team Championships on the line. The Briscoes versus OGK. The Briscoes making an attempt to become a record 12-time Ring of Honor Tag Team Champions, and they did it. The Briscoes defeated OGK to become 12-time champions. I do not have this written down in my notes, but who came out after? The surprises don't end, folks. Who came out after the Briscoes defeated OGK to become 12-time champions? None other than FTR.
Yeah.
They want the Briscoes. The time for talking is over. The time for Twitter bullcrap is over. FTR wants the Briscoes.
Now, we'll say this now, but of course we'll talk a little bit more of FTR as well as we talk more on this show. But FTR right now kind of has their hands full. And we'll talk more about why they have their hands full. But calling out the Briscoes, who are one of the longest tenured tag teams kind of out there right now. You know,
longest tenured in Ring of Honor. I mean, they haven't really gotten their hands dirty in terms of, like, big name companies. I mean, I guess you could say that New Japan was kind of like their really main big name company but either way, who's to say we couldn't see the Briscoes and FTR doing the graps in AEW, or even AAA for that matter.
I mean, who knows? They could even put the ROH tag team titles on the line, even though...
I think that's the whole purpose of why they're feuding, is FTR wants those Ring of Honor tag team titles. Basically, FTR's whole thing right now is they want to win tag team gold no matter where it is.
Exactly.
No matter,
Because no matter where they've been, they've won tag team gold. I mean, for
Yeah.
God's sakes, they even won AAA Tag Team Gold, and they're not even in AAA.
They're not even natively, yeah.
I
So.
mean, we'll talk about that a little bit more. I mean, apparently they did put those titles
Yes.
on the line at Triple Mania.
They did. They faced off against the Lucha Brothers and I believe some other tag teams I heard in a ladder match. I'm not entirely sure. I didn't watch Triple Mania as I believe NWA was happening at the same time that Triple Mania was on. So I could have probably watched both, but
right.
Regardless, next up we have more Ring of Honor alumni, and honestly, you can't get any bigger and better of Ring of Honor alumni than Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson shows his thanks to Ring of Honor. Next up, the main event. Nothing bigger, nothing. The implications are high, tensions running high. Unfortunately, the man who is the true world champion had a positive test of COVID, so he could not defend. But regardless, they were going to have a world championship match set in place. They substituted the original design of the world championship. Jonathan Gresham, Jay Lethal. Ring of Honor World Championship on the line. Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to be the final world champion with the original belt? Jonathan Gresham. He got his moment. He finally became the world champion in front of his wife, in front of his friend Baron Black, in front of the entire Ring of Honor roster. They came down to the ringside area mid-match to witness Jonathan Gresham get his big moment, capturing the Ring of Honor World Championship. And it was the original belt, the one from many, many years ago that started the foundation of the company known as Ring of Honor. Now we get on to Impact news. We have learned that at Hard to Kill on January 8th, it will be Matt Cardona versus W. Morrissey versus Moose in a triple threat match for the world title. Then we get to our first bit of in-ring action. Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt versus Chris Saban and Micky James. And to no surprise, really, Deonna Purrazzo and Matthew Raywalt defeated Chris Saban and Micky James by cheating to win. They held the ropes during the pin.
Doesn't shock me.
Then we go to another match. We have Rohit Raju versus Lawrence D, but unfortunately, it ended in a no contest because Josh Alexander came out, disrupted the match. The ref threw the match out. But what it is, Josh Alexander came down to the ring, stormed down the ring. He wants Jonah. He called out Jonah. Scott D'Amore comes out and he's like, hey man, you got to keep your emotions in check. I know you want Jonah. I know you want the world title, but unfortunately... So then it led to Scott D'Amore making the announcement, Josh Alexander versus Jonah has been made official for Hard to Kill on January 8th. Then we cut to some more backstage stuff and some more Scott D'Amore. Steve Maclin goes up to Scott D'Amore and he's like, hey man, I'm going to keep preaching to the choir here. I don't care how many times I have to tell you, but you and I both know. Never pinned, never submitted. I want the X Division title. But this time, Scott D'Amore is like, I'm putting my foot down. You're not getting an X Division title shot. So Steve Maclin has been denied another opportunity at the X Division title. Next up, we have Finn Juice and the Learning Tree. Finn Juice beat the Learning Tree. That should come as no surprise. The Learning Tree can't get anything done without the help of Brian Myers. It's evident at this point. Next up, we have some backstage stuff with Moose and W. Morrissey. Moose wanted W. Morrissey to take out Matt Cardona for him, but W. Morrissey does not trust Moose to take out Matt Cardona, and even then, W. Morrissey told Moose, Matt Cardona's mine. You're not dealing with him. So, then we have a street fight between Eric Young and Rhino. Eric Young beat Rhino in a street fight with help from the Good Brothers. Good Brothers in BBD? Maybe? I don't exactly know what to think about that. I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much into that, but
I don't know. What it just seems like to me is that like Impact doesn't have like any ideas for the Good Brothers as a
they're just kind of there. I mean, you know, maybe the Good Brothers should stick to just, you know, running Impact Developmental, to tell you the truth, because initially I was going to probably talk about the digital exclusive match on Impact Plus, but then when I found out, like, and it's no disrespect to the match itself. If you want to watch it, it is on Impact Plus. It's from Lariato Pro Wrestling Guild, which, from what I've heard from Doc Gallows or Carl Anderson, one of the two on Twitter, is that Lariato Pro Wrestling Guild is the developmental brand for Impact Wrestling, which makes a lot of sense now why it's on Impact Plus, but regardless, it was a match for the Lariato Pro Championship, and I don't know who won. I didn't really, but either way. Next up, we get to a match, and their name. They were kind of fighting over what their name should be, whether it be the Influential Inspiration or the Inspirational Influence something. But either way, they were going up against all four members of Decay, and Decay beats the Influence and the Inspiration. And then we cut to a backstage segment. It has been brought to our attention. It has been made official now. Lady Frost has signed a contract with Impact Wrestling. And speaking of Lady Frost, it will be Lady Frost, Tasha Steele, Jordan Grace, Chelsea Green, Rosemary, and Rachel Ellering, all competing on January 8th at Hard to Kill in the first ever Knockout Ultimate X match. And then we cut to the main event, W. Morrissey versus Matt Cardona. It was kind of a throwaway, because W. Morrissey ended up getting himself disqualified. So, yeah. Main event, they kind of threw it out. It is what it is. But that's Ring of Honor and Impact for this week. And this week I will not forget to mention it. This Saturday on Impact Plus, we are going back to the 80s. We are going back to the IPWF. They're bringing it back. Throwback Throwdown 2. With all your favorite guys from IPWF, the Impact Provincial Wrestling Federation. They're bringing it back. Throwback Throwdown 2. All the guys that you thought you knew from Impact are now other people.
Well, we kind of wanted to bring some attention to this. Unfortunately, Jeff Hardy was released by WWE over his actions on leaving mid-match because he was tired. WWE wanted to offer him rehab. He denied it. He just wanted to go home and get well rested, and it unfortunately led to his release by the company. I wish WWE was a little bit more understanding of the situation that Jeff Hardy has been in as of late.
It's a very weird topic right now, and even then we don't know
a lot of
all of the facts.
I know,
but
a lot of it is like was he really on going back to his demons, or was he just done with WWE? I think it's more so he was done with WWE.
Yeah,
I think he just needed some time away. He knew that he was going nowhere in the company. It was kind of like a CM Punk moment. He kind of just walked out.
Well, CM Punk's situation is obviously a lot different than Jeff Hardy's, but regardless, it is a bit similar for the most part.
Because you didn't see any ruling of, well, Jeff Hardy gets arrested again. Jeff Hardy DWI. All you heard is Jeff Hardy got released from the company, and his wife said he's doing fine.
Yeah.
So
and even then,
even his brother said he's fine. Yeah. He's well. He's home. He's resting. What I feel like is going to happen is it's going to lead to him joining up in AEW. Even though there have been reports, and I know these are just rumors, there have been reports of things that he has done in the past are going to resort to him not being in AEW. I think those are false. That has nothing to do with why he will not be in AEW. Tony Khan would be too damn stupid to not have Jeff and Matt Hardy team up in AEW and booster that tag team division.
Well, it's funny too, and I want to mention Matt Hardy recently posted a video to his YouTube channel with Jeff. It was a new Matt Fact thing for one, and two, it was another thing where Jeff is in the background, Matt's talking, and Jeff Hardy kind of hinted at his WWE release because he had headphones on. He takes them off and he looks at Matt and he's like, "Oh, sorry, I was listening to a song, Release Me by..." And then he starts talking. He's like, "Yeah, I am the whisper in the wind. I am the swanton bomb. But without you, there is no poetry in motion." So
I hate to say it, I really do think this whole getting released by WWE was kind of planned.
I think that Jeff Hardy worked WWE into releasing him.
I think so too. That's what I'm saying. I really do think that people are taking this way more out of the complex himself. And I knew all along because he was wasn't he not promised as when he came back that, oh, well, the main reason why we brought you back is so that you can be WWE champion. Well, guess what? WWE, you didn't make him WWE champion. You just made him a joke.
It's Triple H. It's all Triple H.
You made him a joke of a guy. Ever since he came back, he was barely a champion. He was working these matches and went nowhere.
If we want anybody to blame for that, blame Triple H. Triple H never had faith in Jeff to be a WWE champion. And, here's the thing. Triple H was right at the time to not trust Jeff Hardy to be the flag bearer as the WWE champion because, he was unreliable. He had all those issues of past, drug abuse and alcohol addiction. But he's been clean for, the better part of 2 years now.
Oh, I know.
So, and even then, WWE helped him get to rehab in 2019. And even Matt and Jeff have both said that they feel like Jeff does not need rehab right now. So, and Jeff Hardy worked WWE into releasing him, which Jeff Hardy is a genius, if that's the case. Yeah. Jeff Hardy's absolutely
because
a genius.
He knew he wasn't going anywhere in WWE, and he knows. And don't be shocked. He could be very well a guy that debuts at Winter is Coming. I'm half expecting
he has a non-compete. He has a non-compete. He wouldn't be able to...
What, a 90-day non-compete clause?
He has a 90-day non-compete.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, you've heard it here. Jeff Hardy in AEW is going to be the sweetest deal you're going to see. And you're finally going to see Matt Hardy actually doing something. And I hate to say it for any AEW tag team, you better watch out. Because there's one tag team title that has eluded the Hardys right now.
The Expedition of Gold is not complete for the Broken Hardys.
And you're going to see the Broken Hardys in AEW. You are going to see Brother Nero and Broken Matt Hardy in AEW.
Matt fact.
Book it.
Matt loves Brother Nero.
Book it. You're going to see Matt and Jeff Hardy and Jeff Hardy. And let me tell you something. You heard it here first. You heard it here first. I'm pretty sure any other place that talks about wrestling has not talked about it, but you heard it here first. And I want to hear in the comments, if I'm right, I want to hear it. Jason was right. Jason told us so. Because I damn near know that, well, first off, this whole thing was planned. Jeff knew what he was doing. Matt Hardy was, quiet about it. Now Matt and Jeff are officially going to be back together. Matt is in AEW, kind of doing something, kind of not. But I think this is this is something that's going to help resurge Matt Hardy to being back to the Broken Hardy, because he was better as that than he was with the Hardy Family Office.
Yes.
It's going to help out Jeff Hardy a lot, too. Because right now, he doesn't really need a singles title. Eventually, it would be nice to see it, because I think you can also use him as that singles guy in AEW. But making him a tag team champion in AEW with all those other great tag teams just helps them out in general, and also gives the Hardys a tag team title that's eluded them currently in their career, because they've just about damn near won every other tag team title out there. And that is the AEW World Tag Team titles. And speaking of AEW, we are going to go into AEW talk, as some interesting stuff. MJF Musics starts off the night for Long Island, New York, but it isn't MJF. It's CM Punk getting some heat.
CM Punk doing some heel moves.
Yeah, he's
Long
getting
Island.
He's getting some heat in Long Island. He's like,
"This is your guy? This is your guy? Like, really? This is your guy?" Talking about MJF. This is your guy.
He keeps on going out there talking all this crap. All I want to do is fight. All CM Punk wants to do is fight right now. I don't know when exactly the match between CM Punk and MJF is going to happen. I would assume probably soon, if not build more and more towards Revolution. Even though it's damn near 3 months away at this point. It's not exactly 3 months, but it's
still long enough ways away.
Yeah, exactly.
That you can build that match for a long time, but at the same time, if you're not gonna have it at Winter is Coming, and you're not gonna have it then if you ask me, they should just have it at New Year's Smash or whatever that show is that they do at the beginning of the year.
Right. They could. But, again, he wants to fight MJF, and all for him.
I say let it happen.
MJF and CM Punk has exchanged words every week. CM Punk this week, who's to say that Winter is Coming, it's going to be MJF. Or maybe MJF, after the Dante Martin match, CM Punk comes down and talks some more words, and they exchange some more things. It might eventually lead to a match probably next week, if anything, but who the hell knows. But as far as we know, CM Punk and MJF are still exchanging words, and all they want to do is just fight. Just get it done and over with. Speaking of more MJF and Dante Martin was, we had the Dynamite Dozen tournament, or not tournament,
Dynamite
Battle
Dozen
Royal.
Battle Royal.
You saw names like Jay Lethal, a lot of Team Taz, Matt Sydal, MJF, Wardlow. Speaking of Wardlow, MJF and Wardlow are not seeing kind of eye to eye, as MJF did eliminate Wardlow. But what got me a little interested in this match, that's going to probably resort to a bigger and bigger storyline itself, Dante Martin, who actually
Yep.
joined up, like we said last episode, joined up with Team Taz, eliminates Ricky Starks. He is FTW
Played them
no
like
more.
a fiddle. Played them like a fiddle.
Like I said, he is FTW no more. He took off the armband, threw it out in the ring, even though I tell you those trunks looked pretty nice on him. The fire with
Oh yeah.
the black
Yeah,
and the red, orange.
Those Team Taz inspired tights were pretty cool looking, but
He eliminated Ricky Starks to make it 2 men left, as it's MGF and Dante Martin gonna face off again for the ring. But Ricky comes back in the ring and beats the living hell out of Dante Martin. MGF is at the ramp, like, you want me to go in there? Goes in the ring. We all thought, oh wow, is MGF actually gonna turn babyface and help out Dante Martin? Well, think again. He's the salt of the earth.
He's never gonna help anybody.
He actually helps
Besides
out
maybe
Ricky
Wardlow.
Starks beat down on Dante Martin, and then CM Punk went out and saved Dante Martin. I'm kind of smelling a tag team match brewing. As weird as it seems, I kind of smell something tag team-esque coming, but all it led was to a beatdown. CM Punk saved the day. Still exchanging some words to MJF on the ramp, saying this is your guy. You're the guy? You know, he's sick and tired of MJF, especially in Long Island, New York. But Dante Martin, we don't know what's to come with him and, Team Taz, FTW, and all the other stuff. We don't know if he's even going to join back up with Leo Rush and be with his brother. Who knows? But moving forward, Jurassic Express and the Varsity Blondes beat 2.0 and acclaimed, as, you kind of half expected it was a decent match between the four top tag teams in AEW right now, which I find interesting. Jurassic Express just keeps on racking in wins. Christian Cage keeps on saying that his guys are gonna eventually be there. I would love to see Jurassic Express eventually get that tag team title opportunity, as they very well deserve it. But then 2.0 beat down to Eddie Kingston to keep on going with that whole rivalry. When are we going to see Eddie Kingston being done with 2.0?
When are we going to see Chris Jericho being done with 2.0?
Yeah, that's the good question. I'm still thinking.
Why are both of them going after 2.0?
I'm still thinking that Chris Jericho is going to team up with Eddie Kingston in some odd way. But I hate to say it, I will say this now. If Jon Moxley, and I can't wait till he's back and fully rehabbed. If he wasn't in rehab right now, of course it would be probably Moxley and Eddie Kingston going up against 2.0.
Yeah.
But Chris Jericho being a replacement for right now, I'm alright with. He's not really involved with Inner Circle. Inner Circle has kind of been off the shelves. Barely even been seeing Sammy on TNT.
Yeah,
Dynamite.
his reign as of late has been kind of like lackluster in a sense. Don't get me wrong, I love the fact that he's TNT champion, and matter of fact, just the fact alone that he won it in Rochester makes it even better. Because we were there, but at the same time, it's like, for one, he hasn't defended it
Right.
very often, and even just in general, he hasn't been on TV a lot.
No, he really has not.
So
I would like.
he's only defended it maybe four or 5 times.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Of course, we'll talk about who we could expect. I'm half expecting somebody to debut and go after Sammy's title, but we'll talk about that a little bit towards the end there. But again, Ed Kingston, Chris Jericho, not done with 2.0, but I don't know. I would assume that eventually there's going to be a match tag team match, and I hope it'll end that little feud, a little rivalry, a little harshness that the 2.0 and Daniel Garcia have been bringing to Eddie Kingston and Chris Jericho, because they just have not let them alone. Going forward, the Young Bucks beat the Best Friends, and then they beat them down after the match. Then a white van pulls up.
Sue.
And who's in the front seat? It's Sue! And who comes out? Changed.
Yeah.
Trent Beretta.
With a shaved head.
Shaved head, and apparently looking even more... I don't know if he... It's kind of tough to tell. I think he's not as tall as he used to be. You know, he had spinal stenosis. He had neck surgery. Mm-hmm. You know, it sucks that had to happen, but he's looking refreshed. He's looking healthy. He's looking good. He does kind of not look as tall as he used to be. I'm not going to say so. They probably had to take some height out of him there. I don't know what kind of surgery that entails, but he definitely does seem shorter. But I mean, I guess he doesn't look as, big and bulky as he used to be, but he is pretty jacked, as he should be. I mean, spinal surgery, you kind of want to help work out the core, and man, looks like he has lost a lot of weight. He's looking good as he returns to help beat down on the Young Bucks, spears the living crap out of, I want to say, either Nick or Matt Jackson. But man, they all go in the ring, and you got to give the people what they want. Yeah. The hug. They all hug each other in the ring, and I am grateful to see the Best Friends back. I'm just kind of smelling a faction versus faction. I'm smelling the Super Clique against
Chaos.
Against the Best Friends.
Well, Best Friends are part of Chaos.
So I'm definitely half expecting there to be, you got Wheeler, Yuda. I mean, you got 5-on-5. Technically, Brandon Colors in that equation. So I'm half expecting there to be, faction against faction. Revolution, maybe? Who knows?
Blood and guts?
I mean, I know Revolution is not usually the place for blood and guts, but...
Yeah, they can make it the place for blood and guts.
Exactly. They can have
or even Double or Nothing make it the place for blood and guts.
Well, I mean, I'm half expecting there to being a faction versus faction match. I mean, in some capacity there. I'm all for it. Oh, yes. Well, speaking of Sammy Guevara comes out. Cody Rhodes comes out. Well, Cody Rhodes, who is a 2-time TNT champion, wants a piece of Sammy Guevara. He wants to be the first ever 3-time TNT champion.
If it happened, it happened.
He wants it on Christmas Day, because, well, technically Rampage, the Christmas edition of Rampage, that's when they will be going after each other for the TNT title. Our thoughts. Who do you think will win this match?
I hope they don't give it to Cody.
I don't think they will give it to Cody, but...
Well, if they do, then he's just going to get even more boos than he already gets.
I know.
So,
I just don't know what the hell Cody, New York in general has against Cody Rhodes, but they hate Cody Rhodes. New York in general.
The only thing that will make me hate Cody Rhodes is if they give him the TNT strap for a third time. Because at that point, then you just look at it and be like, why? Why are they continuing to give Cody Rhodes, the TNT Championship? What is he going to prove with the TNT Championship if you decide to give it to him for a third time?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. I mean, I guess I'm alright with this. I mean, Cody Rhodes has kind of worked his way up. Sammy Guevara, he really hasn't even gone up against him for the TNT title, so it's at least a new opponent for the title. But I would like to see Sammy Guevara doing like an open challenge every week. I mean, Cody Rhodes, even when he was the champion, was like doing open challenges every single week, putting title on the line like almost every single week.
Because
so
of Cody Rhodes' open challenges, that's how we were able to get opponents like Warhorse, and that's the thing too. It brought in Ricky Starks and Eddie Kingston.
right, exactly. So I would hope that. I mean, if that's the only reason I could see Cody Rhodes winning it again is doing like bringing in some guys to go after the TNT title, but I would like to also see Sammy Guevara, because Sammy Guevara has had some interesting open challenges. Tony Needs making his debut on, Rampage. Then, Jay Lethal, then being signed to AEW. So it brought some guys in to compete and see on the main show. But, again, I don't know who's going to be a clear-cut winner. I would love to see Sammy retain, but something tells me that they might just give it to Cody Rhodes in this, for this. I don't know.
Be prepared to get all the hate thrown your way, Cody.
Yeah, like you have him already. Going for Rio beats Jamie Hayter, and then Britt Baker beats down Rio after the match.
Riho is just on the ride of her career right now, man, in AEW.
I kind of like it because you really haven't seen or done much with Rio ever since her first initial AEW Women's World Title
to be
reign.
fair, she's probably been, just lighting up stardom in Japan.
So now you bring her back, she has just been lighting up in AEW. That match against Jamie Hayter was a little too long, a little too dull. I mean, Riho is a really good wrestler.
Yeah,
Jamie Hayter is just not that good.
No disrespect to Riho. I mean, she's definitely proven herself in the last 2 years of being in AEW.
Right.
She's definitely proven that she can carry her weight.
Right, exactly.
Especially as a champion, she can carry her weight. So
I would definitely like to see her.
Granted, she's like 90 pounds, but
I would love to see her go after and beat Britt Baker for her title. I think she's the right opponent to be able to do it. Because I hate to say it, there are 2 women's titles. Britt Baker,
yep,
has been the champ for long enough. I think it's time for somebody new to go after it, and now you're gonna eventually have 2 titles, and who knows? Britt Baker could eventually go after the TBS title or still after the AEW Women's World Championship. But I would like to see a title change. I think Riho being a 2-time champ would be nice. But who knows? Going forward, Hikaru Shida wants to go up against Serena Deeb. It will happen, and winter is coming. Our thoughts on that?
Furthers the rivalry, but at the same time, it's like how many times are you gonna have Serena and Shida go up against each other?
I mean, they are 1-1 against each other. So this is the tiebreaker.
This is the rubber match.
I hope something comes out of it. Whoever wins could maybe go on and get
a women's title shot.
Yeah, a women's title shot.
Whether it be TNT or not TNT, the TBS or the World Women's Title.
Yeah, exactly. So I would hope that
just do something. Have a payoff.
What it seems like to me, if you think about it, the TBS title kind of seems like it's going to be the women's kind of like mid card title.
It would make sense.
Kind of seems like what it's going after, and then you have the women's world championship. Yeah. Kind of like the men where you had the TNT title and then you had the AEW world title. So I kind of like that. It's something different.
Yeah.
Because, it gives you another title that you can go after than just the world title.
But it makes sense too, because when you think of the men's side, the men's division, and the women's division. The men's division has 2 titles. Why can't the women's division have 2 titles? But at the same time, if you're gonna give the women 2 titles, at least like branch off both. Like
Right, exactly.
make one seem more important than the other.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Don't get me wrong. The TBS championship can be important in its own way,
Right.
but like nothing is more important than the world women's title.
In this, I think Sheeta would need to win a little bit more than Serena Deeb. Yes, Serena Deeb is been used on, AEW here and there. So, I mean, Hikaru Shida really hasn't been seen much at all. But Hikaru Shida has been the women's world champion before. Serena Deeb has not. So, I mean, yeah, I would like to see a Serena Deeb do a little bit more, be shown on AEW a little bit more. Go after, like, a title in AEW. It would be nice. But I'm kind of on the fence. This one could go either way between both of them. And I'm ready to see it happen. And winter is coming.
Definitely.
This one was a little interesting. So, Julia Hart is out with the Varsity Blondes. The lights go out, go back on, and who comes out? Malachi Black. Ended up spitting the black mist into Julia Hart. What do we think that means?
Who knows?
I don't know why Malachi Black would have to get involved with the Varsity Blondes business. That just makes absolutely no sense. It kind of seems like to me that, like, are you already running out of ideas with Malachi Black already? Because it kind of seems a little bad.
Yeah.
I hate to say it. I mean, it's kind of like running into the whole WWE side of things already. Like, oh yeah, he's a great, big guy. He was feuding up with Cody Rhodes. Now, like,
Well,
I'm sorry. There's more that you can do with Malachi Black than giving him the Varsity Blondes.
At least
there's
one good thing to look forward to about Malachi Black is he did kind of renew his rivalry with Buddy Matthews over the weekend at a House of Glory show. So there's that, but like, why couldn't it have happened in an AEW ring? That's my thing.
Right. I just don't understand it. Yeah, it's weird that he spit the black mist into Julia Hart's face, into her eyes, but from what I'm seeing is that is it going to be a tag team match? Is it going to just be Malachi against one of the members of Varsity Blondes? Maybe like what's his name there? Not the one, but the other there. The one that was involved with MGF. Helping me out here.
Which one? I'm sorry.
The one that was going up with MGF there.
Who?
The one member of Varsity Blondes that was going up against MGF.
Oh, Pillman.
Yeah, Brian Pillman Jr. It could be. Then who knows? It could be Andrade and Malachi against the Varsity Blondes. I have no idea. I'm at a loss of words with what is going on with this whole moment. It was just kind of like, why? I was watching. I was like, why is Malachi out here? Like, it just makes absolutely no sense. Kind of like you're just giving him anybody at this point because you kind of want to just show him on TV. Like, I'm sorry, if you have absolutely no idea what to do with him, like, you could
keep him off TV.
You could use somebody else. I mean, It's all right until you find a way to use them. Like, that's the one thing with AEW. It's like, you look at it as like, really, like that's the best you can give Malachi Black at this point. Like, But moving forward, In the main event, nonetheless, Bryan Danielson beats John Silver, as that is the last opponent he has to go up against before Adam Hangman Page. He will get Adam Hangman Page later tonight on Winter is Coming in the most anticipated main event in AEW as far as world title matches go. I think it's going to be a hell of a match.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm hoping they give enough time for both men in this match.
I think it'll probably be maybe a 30-minute or so slugfest between the two. So.
Right, who knows? I mean, I have no idea who exactly will win between Bryan Danielson and Adam Hangman Page, but if I had to get down. If I had to half expect, sorry about that interruption from my cat. If I had to half expect anybody to win, it might just be Bryan Danielson's time to win the AEW World Championship. I mean,
Maybe.
I know it would suck because Adam Hangman Page.
Then it would make Hangman a transitional champion, but sometimes transitional champions are kind of neat.
I kind of think that Adam Hangman Page kind of won because Kenny needed to take some time away from injuries. So I kind of think that Adam Hangman Page kind of is that transitional champion.
But at the same time, also, what would have happened had Hangman not won and not gotten his big payoff at Full Gear?
Then I think it would have been Bryan Danielson beating Kenny Omega. It would just meant it would. I mean, I was kind of half expecting Kenny Omega versus Bryan Danielson in the first place anyway. But again, it's Bryan Danielson, Adam Hangman Page. I'm not expecting Bryan Danielson. Bryan Danielson has been on a tear as of late. Don't get me wrong, Adam Hangman Page got his moment to win the World Championship. But I think it's just going to be a short-lived moment. Bryan Danielson, I think, is going to win. You want to just bring him in, have him on his nice run, and then just have him lose to Adam Hangman Page. It kind of loses all the momentum he has going into that match. But then again, it probably won't hurt him as much. Yes, it means it lowers him than he loses his first match to Adam Hangman Page. But I don't think that's if Bryan Danielson does lose this match at Winter's Coming, that will not be the last time you see between both of them. I think they would compete again at Revolution. You know what? This is where I'm going to say this. I don't think Bryan Danielson will win at Winter's Coming. I think he's going to beat Adam Hangman Page at Revolution. Book it.
We'll have to wait and see what happens.
It gives Adam
tonight.
Hangman Page some more time being the world champion.
Yeah.
He can go after some other guys and retain, and eventually go up against Bryan Danielson again for the world title at Revolution.
We'll just have to wait and see what happens tonight.
Exactly. We'll have to see what happens tonight. Going forward, I didn't really want to talk about this, but what kind of had me a little chuckle that led into the 6-women tag team match is Ruby Soho was there.
Yes.
And then Walt, hop up. We don't wait. Beats down on the Bunny.
The Bunny and
Penelope Ford. And then Nyla Rose comes out of nowhere.
Next thing you know, Nyla Rose comes out and says, "Surprise, bitch!" And sorry.
Yeah, it says surprise, bitch. Beats down Ruby Soho, and then who comes up to help out Ruby Soho because they didn't think that she had any friends? Well, apparently she has some friends. And Ty Conti, and Anna Jay come out to help out Ruby Soho from the beatdown by Nyla Rose. Well, speaking of Rampage, before we get into that 6-women tag team match, Lucha Brothers, in a pretty decently back and forth contest, retained their World Tag Team titles against FTR. Man, it just makes you think, when the hell are the Lucha Brothers going to lose those tag team titles? We'll talk about FTR a little bit more, but FTR were not able to become the first ever two-time tag team champions, as they are still the AAA tag team champions. Makes you wonder, when are they going to, eventually lose those AAA tag team titles? And when are the Lucha Brothers going to actually eventually lose those AEW World Tag Team titles?
Well, a better question when it comes to FTR is, in the AAA tag team titles, who's the right opponent to take the titles off of them? Is it going to be kind of like a Kenny Omega situation where they have to forfeit the title because they can't defend them?
Who knows? I guess time will tell. So, they retain. Then, Nyla Rose, The Bunny, and Penelope Ford beat Anna Jay, Ty Conti, and Ruby Soho. That was kind of a given at this point. I have expected Nyla Rose, Bunny, and Penelope Ford to beat Anna Jay, Ty Conti, and Ruby Soho. I feel like it was just a put-together 6-woman tag team match, because sometimes on Rampage they don't know what other matches to put together. It's just like ones. Sometimes they just like, okay, here, we have all these women, put them in this match. That's kind of like what it was, just to get it done and over with, which it was not terrible. It was alright. It made sense in the moment because, Ruby Soho got beaten down and all that other stuff. Well, don't forget that I'm pretty sure Ruby Soho and Nyla Rose are actually going up against each other. So that kind of leads it more into that. What I want to know is, when is the remaining matches? When are the two semifinal matches going to be happening? When are the finals going to be happening for the TBSL? Are they waiting until closer to the switch, or are they going to wait until when the switch happens and then actually crown the champion when it switches over to TBS? Because I want to know.
Yeah,
I want to know
how long. Want to know.
Like, how long are you waiting until the switch, those matches happen? Because it didn't happen last week. It's not happening, tonight. Is it happening next week? Is it happening on Rampage? Come on, give us some hits on when these two semifinal matches are going to be happening, because they haven't happened yet. Again, this one was interesting. So Tony Schiavone is interviewing Sting about how he's going to make his return to Greensboro, North Carolina.
In the Greensboro Coliseum.
Yep.
Where he won his first world title, and then next thing you know, FTR.
And the next thing you know, FTR has had their hands busy the last couple of weeks. FTR getting involved with Sting and Darby.
They've had quite the weekend.
FTR is busy in the tag team world, and I honestly like it.
Yeah.
It means that you got more involved with FTR. They are, one of the top tag teams out there of today. And honestly, I'm all for bringing Darby, having Sting and Darby tag up more. Because I hate to say it, we're kind of having Sting not doing much. So having Sting and Darby tag up with each other, I'm looking at it like, finally, they should be competing in more tag team matches. I'm all for them going up against FTR. I don't know when exactly they'll face off against each other. I would assume in the Coliseum. That's kind of what they were building towards, which I'm totally fine with. And then it makes you think, when is FTR and the Briscoes gonna, go up against each other? Because I'm half expecting it to be in AEW.
Yeah.
Even if it's a short-term, deal for the Briscoes, I'm half expecting them to put the ROH tag team titles on the line in AEW. As weird as that would seem.
FTR is out here to be tag team belt collectors.
Yeah. they're kind of becoming a new Hardys in a way. They wanna be on that expedition of gold and win and try to win as much tag team gold as they can. You know what I would love to see too? FTR, the Hardys.
Yeah.
Now that would make the most sense.
Yeah.
I think it's going to eventually happen in AEW, and it would make the most sense. I'm all for it. Because again, I'm saying it here. I'm gonna say it again. FTR or the Hardys are going to be in AEW. It's gonna happen. You know, all this stuff with, you know, Jeff and Matt teasing stuff wouldn't just be happening if they didn't know that eventually it's gonna lead to, you know, Tony Khan. Tony Khan, I think right now, is just waiting for the right moment, you know, to bring him on, and I'm half expecting it to be sometime next year. We got an interesting debut that I didn't think that was gonna happen so soon. Hook!
They sent Hook.
They finally sent Hook! Hook beats Fuego del Sol, and
he beat, but it's what he beat him with. He beat him with the Taz mission.
But before then, he also
earlier in the match he used the Tazplex.
Yeah.
So definitely
showing signs that he is his father's son.
Yes. He's very much influenced by his father Taz. And
I'm still kind of weirded out by, like, why is he wearing boxing trunks in a wrestling ring when he should...
Yeah, I think it's kind of...
You know what would be hilarious? Wearing a freaking singlet.
Oh.
God.
I mean, if that's the case, then he would really be taken after his father.
But I think he wants to look a lot different, has a different look. Even though
I completely understand. He doesn't want to entirely be...
I will say, he looked pretty damn impressive for his debut.
Absolutely.
He looked impressive. Like, he is... You can definitely tell he's been training his whole life for this moment. And, man, he excelled. Even if it was against an opponent that they just give to anybody to look good against. Fuego, I hate to say it, you're basically the AEW joke guy. You're basically just there to collect a paycheck, lose to these upcoming guys, and then, you know, then they ended up doing bigger and better things. Well, we actually got a weird rampage. We actually had, instead of 3 matches, we actually had 4 matches in a weird kind of main event match between Adam Cole and Wheeler Yuta. Well, as you half expected, Adam Cole beats Wheeler Yuta, and then after the match, both factions brawl with each other, causing more and more speculation that both the Super Clique and the Best Friends are going to be going up against each other in some capacity. And you know what? I'm all for it. It's a way that you can use the Best Friends in a different, you know, light. And technically, Super Clique does have 5 members, even though brand color is fairly used. You know, you have Adam Cole, Young Bucks, Bobby Fish, you have was it Adam Cole, Nick Jackson, Matt Jackson, Bobby Fish, and Brandon Color. Then you have Wheeler Yuta, Trent, Chucky T, Rocky Romero, and Orange Cassidy. So 5-on-5. I'm all for it. I've said it here before. I'm all for faction versus faction here. Makes the most sense. As far as, say, who would win, honestly, I have no idea.
It'd probably be Chaos, but then again, watch it be the Elite.
I mean, the Elite hasn't been looking strong in their matches as of late, so I'm kind of
Ever since they lost Kenny, they kind of lost their momentum.
Yeah, they have lost their momentum, and honestly, it's going to be very interesting to see what will happen when Kenny does eventually come back. Will it be this? Will the Elite crumble and be no more, or will they rise to the occasion and be even stronger with Kenny at the forefront? I have no idea. But as of right now, it's kind of like, is AEW kind of hurting without Kenny? Yes and no. But I think that, the future looking bright, even with Kenny not really being in the picture right now. I think they're still doing good things. The Super Click is doing good things. So, I'm all for it. Now, as far as who we could see debuting later tonight, it'd be interesting because there's a few free agents that had just had their final charade and final goodbyes to NXT. There are 2 members there. There are some also former ROH guys whose contracts were just no more. They don't have any non-compete clause. They just don't have. They're just
They need
all
work.
free. They're all free agents.
They need work.
AEW, I'm half expecting there to be either somebody from ROH or somebody from NXT that shows up and debuts. There was Sting that debuted at Winter is Coming last year.
Yep.
And he has had a very great 1-year run in AEW, which is hard to believe. He's been there for just about a year now. Actually, technically not, because I think it was Winter is Coming was technically like January or something like that of this year.
No, it was December of last year.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Alright, well, he has been around for a year, and he's had a pretty impressive return to wrestling. As far as that, there's guys like Johnny Gargano that could end up being in AEW. Guys like Kyle O'Reilly, which would make kind of the most sense. I think I can see him teaming up with...
I tell you one person I would like to see in AEW that I'm not sure why Tony Khan hasn't pulled the trigger on it. Danhausen.
No.
We need Danhausen in AEW.
No.
We need Danhausen. Danhausen needs to be one-on-one with Billy Ass and the Ass Boys.
Oh, gosh.
He needs to tell AEW to stop swearing. No swearing.
Well, I'm all expecting there to be a pretty good, I'm kind of half expecting there to being a good debut. I'm just hoping that AEW shocks the hell out of us with who they bring in.
In all seriousness, though, if anybody from Ring of Honor, I would like to see maybe like EC3 and Adam Scherr, because apparently it's not just a one-off with EC3 and Adam Scherr. They're looking to be a faction that's brought into one of these promotions.
And it wouldn't shock me if you see another faction joining up with AEW. AEW kind of likes the whole faction thing. And honestly, I've talked to it with Marty before. I would like to see 6-man tag team titles. You have all these factions
Trios
out there.
Tag team titles,
You need to have trios tag team titles.
I think it could work. I mean, Ring of Honor has them. Pretty sure AAA has trios
I even thought about this
New
too.
Japan has 6-man tag team
It'd be
titles.
interesting if you see the debut of the Briscoes on AEW. It would make the most sense after that attack from FTR.
Lights go out. Next thing you know, you hear "Reach for the Sky," and
you know what I find hilarious? That's the same thing that starts off for
it would be "Reach for the Sky, boy." So it's kind of different, but yeah.
Right. It's kind of similar to Scorpio Sky. But as far as that goes, this concludes this episode of No Final Bell.
A bit of a long one today.
Yeah, a little bit of a long one. It probably won't be like that all the time. Of course, down below, please follow us on social media at Tinkle Sports. Make sure to watch Sports Talk every Sunday at 9 a.m. as we are always talking about We were talking about football as we head into the playoffs.
This week there was a bit of a delay, and we apologize for that, but that was out of these guys' control. Brian ended up having a power outage, but Tinkle Sports Talk is now available on all your platforms.
Right. Of course, like, comment, and subscribe on all the episodes and all the other videos that we have on this channel. Of course, everybody, see you in the next one.